I was genuinely bummed out today because I finished episode 8 and I was like, oh, I get to watch episode 9 tonight. No, false. Wednesday's off. So I got to wait a whole fucking day to watch the rest of this thing.
Wednesday's off, but it works great for our recording schedule. So we can stay up to date with all of you.
With all of the Love Island, I'll think of something clever.
I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Love Island Villa Goots. What's up, dude?
Just feeling good. What a show to watch. What a show to just take you through the week, you know? Just delightful.
I thought I was going to be irritated by the amount of episodes, and I'm like, I need more. I need more.
Yeah, it's the best. You know what? If you need more, you could just start watching Love Island UK. It's running simultaneously.
That's actually a good point. Now that you said that, I probably don't have the bandwidth to get invested in another cast, but like, it is interesting. I get done an episode and I'm like, God, I just want to watch the next one right away. It's that captivating.
It's the best. It truly is the best. Breaking down what's going on is just so much fun. And the best part is it's one of those shows that you can immediately go right to Twitter, go right to TikTok and just watch all the people making jokes. Mm-hmm. Everybody making jokes about the things that are happening. And it's so much content that you're bound to miss something. Even the way that we watch these shows, you're bound to miss some weird interaction, some weird reaction, some weird facial reaction. There's so many things in this that you just completely miss out on. And you just get to relive it every time you go look for it.
Well, I want to start out with this. I want to bring it back. We used to do these a lot, and I want to get back to doing them because our audience likes them, and I like them too because I get to know where you stand. I want to power rank. Let's do some power rankings. I want to power rank couples, and then I want to power rank dudes, and then I want to power rank the ladies.
God. Oh, my God.
Triple power rank. You can do top 3 if you want.
So many. Yeah, let's do top 3. That's so much. Honestly, right couples. Now, God, it's so hard. I want to say like the most sound, but all right. So the most entertainment that I'm actually getting out of a couple, the one that seems somewhat strong, I'm going to actually say Austin and Chelley, number 1. I'm going to throw them up there. Okay. I'm going to throw them as number 1. Number 2, I'll put Taylor and Olandria just because they finally shared a kiss in these 3 episodes. So that's great. But they're also just like, I think that both of them are the person in the groups for like the respective groups that everybody can go to and just like have a good TED talk. Like, hey,
they are the real ones. Yes. There's another couple claiming to be those 2. That's driving me nuts, but
they're not in my power rankings. I am not putting them in the
They're not in any power rankings. Yeah. Hell no.
No, they are not in any power rankings. And just for fun, I'm going to put Ace and Amaya at 3rd. That's bringing me.
So you based yours off entertainment value.
Yes, entertainment value for sure.
Mine goes Taylor and Olandria is number 1 because I do think if they can find a way to intimacy, that's a real couple. I like their rapport. I like how they talk to each other. They're able to go back and forth. They seem very similar, a lot of things in common, and I have high hopes for them. I think they're going to get through that, over that speed bump and to figure out how to find each other on that intimate level. 2, I'm going Nick and Sierra because we watched Beldasha get the boot, and I love how taxing that was for Nick. First of all, like you would think that he just made the most difficult decision of his entire life, not that he just picked one girl over another after knowing them for 2 days.
Fuck, man.
Every confessional. Fuck, dude. Where's my scales all over the place? It was 80-20, now it's 50-50. Was it 49-51? I can't make a decision based off of this. But they're number 2, and then number 3 for me is probably Austin and Chelley, and that's mainly because I like Chelley. I think Austin's a douche nozzle.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I think you're looking at Austin the wrong way. He's funny. He's fucking funny, man. He's
not intentionally. He's not intentionally funny.
None of these people are intentionally funny.
Whoa. I don't know. I disagree with that. I actually like some people on this cast.
None of the dudes are intentionally funny. Taylor is not intentionally funny. That is not intentional.
I'm not saying intentionally funny. I'm saying he seems like a good dude. I like
yeah, he seems like a good dude. I mean, that's the thing with a show like this, though. You can think that people are good dudes. You can think that they're good girls. Doesn't work out. Sometimes they do some shit, and you're like, "Whoa!"
Well, yeah, totally.
It doesn't mean that I'm gonna like. This show's all about.
I'm not gonna die on a hill for anybody, but I'm just saying, you know, outside looking in. But that's my power rankings for my couples. Now let's do individuals. Let's do your top 3, and we'll just mix the boys and the girls. Top 3.
Top 3 overall. I'll go. Ace is still funny as hell, so I'm gonna put Ace at 1. I'm gonna put Olandria at 2, and I'm gonna put Austin at 3. Austin's really he's really doing it for me right now. I don't know what it is. I didn't want to like him. I really tried not to, but every episode he's just so funny. And during this stretch, when he's watching Ace and Chelley just go through it, he's like, dude, you could have fucking picked her. Just put me out of my goddamn misery. Like, what
I know.
are we doing here? I'm like, wow, look at that. That's actually pretty sound reasoning. Where'd that come from?
Oh my God. He's just like, I don't know, dude. Like, I get where you're coming from, but there's a part of me that just gets irritated by him. You know, I don't fall for his shtick really, and I don't think that it's much of a shtick. But like,
I don't think it's a shtick. I think he's an idiot.
He's a moron, but like, I don't, not in an endearing way for me. And like, watching his quote unquote meditations are just like, that's how you know Chelley is a nice person. That she took that shit seriously. He was doing, all right, we're gonna shoot the arrow. Where'd you learn this? During my psychedelic days with a shaman.
So
you're doing shrooms in your basement with like an older guy, and he claimed he was a shaman. Your drug dealer gave you bad ayahuasca and did it with you, and that's the shaman. Yeah, I don't know what it is about him, and maybe I'm being mean. There's just something. Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the fact that we decided to try a mustache while we're on the show. I don't know what it is.
It's just so funny to me.
Like, why is this the time, dude? Why are we going to go for the mustache now?
I know, like, he could potentially be here for, what is it? I think it's 8 weeks total that they're there. So it's 56 days. By day 4, he's like, time to try the mustache, see how that goes.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do the mustache now. Like, that's a good idea. It's just nuts. But I want to list off the current couples. All right, and then we're going to go, the way we're going to do this episode, we're going to talk about some of the events.
Well, you want to talk about Belle Dasha and her departure?
We'll talk about Belle Dasha, and then we'll talk about Huda and Jeremiah finally having a very important conversation. But we get to the recoupling, and Nick has a tough decision to make, obviously, because he's in the midst of a love triangle between Sierra and Belle Dasha. Obviously, Belle Dasha and Nick were OG couple. And then he went to the hideaway, and then him and Sierra coupled up. But now we have a decision to make. And it goes through, of course, he goes last. Everyone else picks. I was actually shocked that Ace went for Amaya. I thought he was going to go for Chelley. That seemed like a no-brainer to me.
We'll talk about that a little bit later for sure.
But back to Nick and Bella. I thought he was going to, weirdly, and like I wasn't a big Bella fan early on. I found myself rooting for Bella in this moment. I wanted him to pick her.
Did too. It seemed like I like Sierra. I think Sierra's fine. And like when she's talking, she's fine. It just seems like Bella had a much better personality for this show. She's way more boisterous. She's a little quirky. The whole like kiss on the cheek thing is crazy, but she was really starting to come into her own. And I thought that he was going to pick her. I really did think he was going to pick her. Whether I was rooting for her or not, it doesn't really matter. It just seemed like it was going that direction after them going up to Soul Ties and making out. And then obviously he makes out with Sierra right afterwards. About 5 minutes later,
his mouth is still wet. He's like wiping off Bella's spit, and he's like, "Oh, your turn."
And like, I really thought that she did enough. And I thought that it made a lot of sense. Like the way that she came into the house with the kiss on the cheek thing, then she really went all forward in that baseball game. Then all of a sudden we've got these bombshells hitting the baseball field. What's going to happen here? It's not really going to impact Nick. He's got a big decision to make. I really thought he was going to pick Bella. I thought that she did enough. I thought her timing was perfect. The fact that she did it then, I thought it was just going to be stuck in that big old dumb brain of Nick's. Like, oh, that was pretty good. I waited a while for that.
Bias.
I waited a while for that. That was really good. She made me wait. I kind of like her. I wonder if there's more there. Maybe we'll see. Nope. Actually, see ya. That's bye-bye.
The reason I thought, because I think the sexual chemistry was quite clearly there between Sierra and Nick. I think that's undeniable. I thought there was more of an emotional connection between him and Bella. And I thought that he was going to lean into that, especially after seeing the baseball game, making out soul ties. I was like, all right. So the things that he was missing with Bella, they've seemed to connect those dots. So I was like, But when he says the moment that we shared in the photo booth, I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. But I will say this. I thought Sierra throughout the love triangle handled it extraordinarily well. She never got up in arms about it. She understood that he has to, sow his oats, so to speak, figure out what he wants to do to move forward. I thought she handled herself very well. So I do want to give her credit. Yeah.
She did a good job of not putting too much pressure on him, but she was still clearly going through it by talking to other people in the house, which is probably the best way to do it. Because when it comes to the end of the day, these guys are idiots. And if you give them too much pressure, they're not going to pick you.
They're going to crack. They can't handle it.
Am I going to have to do this every time I have to pick? Are you really going to pressure me?
I haven't thought this much since my PSATs.
Let me get to my confessional room. Fuck.
Nick, you get a confessional? Yeah. Fuck, man. I don't know what to do.
Not me. God, these two girls are so hot. I just don't.
And I'm like really, really sexually attracted to this one, but I'm also like super physically attracted to this one. It's like, Nick, my guy, those are the same things, bud.
God, I'm so stressed. I have this big ass pimple. Do you see it?
That poor guy.
I'll break it out. Well, that's the other part is Taylor has pimple patches. He came out of the villa the next morning with pimple patches all over, just trying to do some maintenance. Love that. We stand that here.
We sure do.
One to Nick. Give a couple to Nick, for the love of God. Come on.
Help your boy out. That was a tough moment for him.
I said something to you yesterday that I saw online that was I wish that Love Island was like the Hunger Games and we could sponsor people and send them
a pimple patch. Nick.
Yes, said Nick. No, somebody said I went back to it later because I wanted to see it and read back through the comments. The best comment now was we have to send Huda's baby in there so that Jeremiah gets to me. And then we got to send the baby daddy in there to see what happens.
Oh, shit. Now we're going to talk about that one. I have a lot to say on that topic. But as far as this goes, I was bummed to see Bella go. But there's something there between Nick and Sierra. So
you could argue the bigger, more impactful move was Ace having free reign. Could have picked Chelley. Doesn't takes Amaya out of nowhere after a very, very short conversation where he's like, yeah, I feel like we vibe. And his speech was odd. He kind of thought he was going to pick Chelley, and then he just went super generic. And you're like, that doesn't sound like Chelley.
See, I think
oh my God.
What I've gotten from Ace, he's trying to play the game too much. He's overplaying. Instead of just giving in at some points, he's doing too much. And we see that in I think episode 8 is when it became evident where I'm like, dude, and I called this out last week when we were talking about it, the super cool, nonchalant guy shtick, every time he talks, it's super low and soft and he doesn't really say anything. He just kind of reacts and asks questions. It's like, dude, at some point you got to stop being that guy because it's not genuine.
He's doing the it's a game and it's a slow burn and we don't have to immediately be, and I think he's trying to almost be the anti Jeremiah and Huda. Where he's watching them and they're so closed off already and he's giving them so much shit about being closed off and he's planting little seeds here and there, which I want to talk about the one that he does to Olandria or later. But when he comes back and he's trying to figure out for himself, it's almost like he wants to just sleep in the bed by himself forever. He's
maybe that's what it is. Maybe just like sharing a bed. I just want
this bed. God, I don't want to share this bed. Look at all you losers cuddling. Ugh.
That could be it. I think that there's something there. I do think he's overplaying the game a little bit, but I need to talk about Huda's reaction to Bella leaving.
Yeah.
Why is she crying more than Bella? what's going on?
Well, it does. It leads us right into the conversation that she has with Jeremiah, but her reaction is crazy. And it's almost like, and I know there's a lot of stuff because they are there and they're interacting constantly. So there's a lot of things that we're not really privy to for sure. I think that maybe they were a little more connected, but I think what it comes down to with Huda, she loves to be that person. Like she's the self-anointed mom of the house, mom and dad.
I'm so sick of that fucking. I hate that so much, dude.
But I think what she was doing was Bella was probably the only one of the women in the house that came to Huda for any sort of like advice, and she loved it. And now that Bella's gone, she's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't have that kind of rapport with everybody else. I don't know what to do. She's my little Beldasha.
She does. Like, that's the thing. She's the self-anointed mom of the house. Her and Jeremiah are Jesus. Like, that's mom and dad. That's not good. But like, let's get to those two. Because they have a little chit chat. Obviously, they remain coupled up because that's super fun and fun to watch. But they are talking because Huda has decided now's the right time to tell Jeremiah that I have a child.
We had our first recoupling ceremony. He picked me. Oh, wow. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I love her confessionals where she's talking about how she's not the type of girl that's like, wow, really?
She's not the type of girl and everything. She says that. I'm not the type of girl that overreacts. I'm not the type of girl at this. I'm like, you are.
You do everything that you say you don't.
Yeah.
Do. It's somebody mashed it up where it's her talking in her confessional about how she doesn't react when guys call her pretty. And she's like, oh my God, do you think I'm pretty? She goes right to Jeremiah and she's like, really? You cry? Were you thinking about me? It's like, that is you. That is exactly what you said you don't do. What are you doing here?
Dude, it's so annoying. But they're talking and she fills him in. First of all, the way she does it is it takes way too long. And I'm like, just tell him. You're making it so much worse now. Now he's
thinking the worst right now. Literally. He doesn't know what. He's like, you're married. You're really 35. Like, I don't know.
Older women. Like, it just drags on for so long and she drops the bomb. As far as reactions go, I would say not great. Doesn't take it great. I will say before that, though, and we talked about this in our last episode, you owe it to this man to tell him out of the gate that you have a child so he can add that into the equation, because whether you like it or not, that is an important factor. Not everybody wants to date somebody with a child. It is what it is. You don't get to dictate whether. Instead, and her reasoning is, I just wanted to make sure that this was real. It's like, okay, or just going to throw this one out there, or make him fall for you, then tell him you have a kid, because then his feelings are too strong to leave.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're trying to do here. And I love, because you waited so long to tell him, there is no great reaction. Like, did you want him to jump up and down? He's not going to do that. You can obviously play the side of, look, I know you just spent the last 5 days with me, and now I'm telling you this. So obviously you have to kind of retool your way of thinking when it comes to us. Fine. But you got to give him a little bit of space to figure it out. You can't be jumping down his throat immediately. Like,
no.
what do you think about that? Well, is that going to change anything? Like, he doesn't know. He has no idea.
He's still processing.
Yeah. And I didn't think that, like, albeit his reaction was great, but I also really didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think that he was immediately like,
it wasn't until, like, his reaction is his reaction, right? Like, it's taken off guard. Until you don't ask about the kid at all. Not one thing. How old's the kid? What's the kid's name? Where, like, anything, nothing, zero. Doesn't even mention the kid until the water park. And even then it was a one-off. Like, that's a red flag, Huda. He doesn't care. He's not like, what the fuck?
The two of them, like, all of, and I'm sorry, but like all of their conversations just run in between each other for me. I cannot tell you the difference between each of their conversations. But the one thing I will point out, it happens a little bit later when Olandria, and obviously a lot of the girls in the house, I don't think the newbies
Olandria and Chelley knew.
Olandria and Chelley knew. I think Beldasha also. No, not Beldasha.
No.
Sierra knew. Sierra knew because
Sierra
she was talking to somebody else and she's like, shit, you know? And he's like, yeah. Like, all right, so they figured it out. But when Olandria is talking to him later, she says, and this is probably what fucked him up the most, you got to stop thinking the two of you and start thinking the three of you.
But that's true.
I know.
But that's why he should know before you get involved that this is a potential thing.
Funny. It is so funny. This is the type of show where they have to, and I know they got like pretty much everybody that came out of the villa last year talked about how they needed therapy like immediately. Oh, yeah. They need therapists.
That's the one thing I did know that happened.
Fiji, right there for them. They do need therapy to figure this out. They have so much time on their hands, and
at least
lot
a
of
Bravo life coach.
Yeah, dude. Like, imagine him just tucking tail and running. Like, producer, I need a session, emergency session right now. How do I deal with this?
What do I do with my hands? Like, I don't know how to process what she just told me, but that's why she should have told him out of the jump. Like, there's no reason to drag this on.
So later, if they're still together later in the season, which I think we're heading towards doom for these two, but if they're still together at the end of towards the end of the season, you get to video chat back home.
Oh boy. Oh boy, with the kid.
That one's gonna be awesome because it's probably just her. Like, I don't know if she didn't. We don't even know about the kid. So who the fuck's watching the kid is a great question. Who knows if she has parents?
Slips up later because she says that on Sundays she picks. I don't like how she talked about this either. There's someone that they're at the water park.
Weird, yeah.
She's like, on Sunday I pick her up from my mom. Okay. On the weekends, her dad takes her. I'm like, okay, well, which one is it? Because those are two different things. And then to say,
maybe the mom
on the weekends, I'm free. What? What do you mean free? Free from your daughter? Like, what are we doing? Stop talking about her like that.
It was the most
it's weird.
It was such a weird, mundane way of talking about parenthood. And she was doing it in an excited voice. And this was the one time that Jeremiah was asking questions about it.
Yeah, he
what does your life look like? Yeah, this was the second question.
Whoa. Don't give him credit for asking about the kid.
No, I'm not.
He was just saying, what's your day to day? And he forgot.
Still trying to wrap his head around that.
He forgot, dude, because she's like, well, I wake up and make her breakfast. We pack our lunch. And he's like, oh, fuck me. That's right. You have a full ass kid. Wait. He was just like, what's your day to day? Thinking she seemed like, wake up, go to the gym, go to work. She's like, get the baby ready. And he's like, oh my God.
She's a fitness trainer. Yeah. I pick up the kid.
He just throws up in the pool.
Sunday night while they're drinking. I pointed this out to you yesterday, but they're sitting there drinking those bottles and it just says beer on the bottle.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. We're just sitting in a cartoon world. But yeah, dude,
pretty much
the most mundane way to go through it. She's like, yeah, I wake her up. I make her breakfast. I make some lunch, and I send her to school.
Lunch,
and it's like, that's not what I asked. But oh shit! Wait, that is what I asked. You're a parent.
Yes, like that. He in that moment he was like, "Holy shit! I forgot for a second."
I don't even know if he forgot that she had a kid. I think he just thought that there was more there, and then he realized right then and there, oh. Yeah, you're a single mom.
Yeah, you're a full-time mom. That's all you do is take care of your kid.
Shit. But that goes right into them talking about moving in together, which was even more insane.
It's
where they're sitting there and she is asking all these questions and he goes, so all right, outside of the villa in the future, what are we looking at? What's on your mind for the future? Well, I think we should move in together. Well, fucking crazy. You have a kid.
5 days. Huda, it's been 5 days, and this is the first time you've ever been on a date, and you have a child involved, and you're just move in.
He's like, let's pump the brakes on that.
Yeah,
we can do the long distance thing for a little while. Maybe we move to the same city. We see how that goes, and if it doesn't work out, then we can still go our separate ways. She goes and reports to the rest of the girls that they're about to move in together.
I know. She just skipped that part. Yeah. Oh my God, bro.
Dude. She's the best and the worst at the same time, and I can't get enough of it. I cannot get enough of it. It is so great.
No, you're not wrong. It's just
watching
these two. You're just checking boxes of toxic relationship. You're yep. Yep. Like it's not.
At least everybody else
well.
in the house is starting to like piece it together a little.
Jeremiah's starting to realize it because now he's like, I think in episode 7, he talks to Nick and he's like, I think he even let it slip too much. By the way, I think he tried to reel it in. He's
this
like,
when Nick was wearing socks on the beach because
don't get me started. The socks in the sand is just an insane move. I'm assuming this. I think what happened is his fair skin, his little tootsies got burned in the sun, and so he's wearing socks.
Oh, all right. Then I will not. If that's the truth, I will not judge him because
I remember your sock burn your foot burn last year. Yeah, that was bad. You were blistered up for like a month.
Yeah, dude. No, I didn't get blisters. My feet just swelled.
Is that what it was? I just remember you were going through it for like an extended period of time.
Yeah. I basically just got gout from the sun. It was crazy.
Sun gout.
Sun gout. You ever heard of that?
What's that? No, that's just my sun gout. Don't worry about it. Oh man.
But
yeah, he's starting to piece together like, hold on. This is because and I get it to a certain extent, like the things that she's saying. But don't get me wrong, I'm not like Team Jeremiah by any means. Okay?
No, not
I'm just
at all.
pointing out some things that Huda did that you just have to talk about. But I think Jeremiah, I think he's in this for the money. I think that he's trying to get through to the end of this thing, and this seems like the easiest route to do it.
Which somebody pointed out in the Truth or Pie.
Yeah.
I think it was Chelley?
Olandria?
No, it was Olandria. It was Olandria. Yeah.
So I think he's slimy, and I think I said that last episode. I'm like, I think he's hiding something. I don't trust that dude, and you're starting to see the cracks because he's getting irritated, and then you're starting to see his true colors come out a little bit. When he's talking to Nick, he's like, "I'm getting over it, bro. I'm pretty much over it." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And then he's like, "Well, I mean, he like dials it back a bit."
He dialed it back a lot. Yeah.
But it's just funny because the things that are starting to irk him, it's like, this just sounds like you jumped in too fast. And now things that she's been doing the whole time are starting to irritate you. Because he's like, I'll bring her food. And she's like, "You did so good." And he's like, I'm not a dog. I'm not a kid. Like, I don't think it's that deep, bro. Like, I know it's annoying, sure, but like, I don't think it's that heavy. And he's like, and the way that he reacts, dude, his body language when he's not into something is like a pissed off 14-year-old. He's like, I'm not talking to you.
Awful. And like, that's sort of the cliffhanger that we get at the end of the 8th episode too. But dude, they are sprinting towards doom. Like this whole thing is going to unravel, and it is going to be the crash out of the century.
It's going to be monumental when this shit goes down.
I just don't know because like it's kind of odd. It's been on for I guess like 9 days at this point. This is the 9th episode technically with After Sun, but we've only gotten 3 bombshells and 2 of them are girls. Let's bring in some hot dudes. See what happens. I don't think that she's going to lunge, but maybe after the conversation that we see at the end of the episode that just aired last night, maybe she'll start shifting her thinking. We did see that scene somewhere in here where she was sitting there talking about how, nobody's pulling me to chat. I haven't been pulled to chat by anybody else. 5. Okay, so we did talk about that already. Yeah, so there's little things here and there, and obviously he's pulling away now because everybody else is kind of seeing probably what he saw. So yeah, maybe he was in it for the money originally, but I think he's realizing it's not worth it. There's probably different ways to go about it. So
I don't think he can get through it.
Yeah.
It's like when they're talking and he's trying to that's what he's trying to say. He does it in a horrible way because he, again, doesn't communicate well. He talks like a pissed off teenager, but he's like, I'm not closing myself off entirely. And she's inquisitive. As anybody would be in this situation. His reactions in this moment, I'm like, dude, because she's like, well, should I start talking to other people? He's like, what? Like, how do you even get there? It's like, because you just said you're not closed off to the opportunities potentially coming into the house. And now she's questioning whether or not she should put all of her eggs in this basket. It seems like a reasonable question to me.
It's like
your reaction sucks.
And it's odd too, because I think he's watching everybody else. And like the big telltale sign was, during Truth or Pie, everybody's making out with everybody.
Everybody's pie,
having a great time. I thought it was wasn't it? Oh, I guess whatever. But everybody's making out with everybody. Everybody's having a great time too. They're being funny about it. Like, they're not watching their person.
They're all being good
sports with somebody else, but they're all being good sports. I would like them to dial it back a little bit. It's still so fucking early. Just have fun. but most of them are having a lot of fun. And then you get to Jeremiah, who's just like pecking people on the cheek. Like, here's a little smooch. And then Huda's yelling from the audience, "Oh, you could have kissed him. It would have been fine." It's like,
her down.
At what point did we ever think it was going to be okay to kiss either of you without one of you crashing out? Like, yeah, let's just not open that door. Let's see where the hell you guys are in a couple of days.
They are on the fast track to explosion, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very interesting to watch. It's just that scene of him and her talking when he's like having that reaction to her questioning things. I'm like, you're not doing a good job of like calming her nerves, and she's asking you questions, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Like, I can't even tell at this point if he's just trying to push her away because he sees everybody else. Like, I just have no idea. It's almost like he wants that. He wants the opportunity to do what, like, no one else in the house is really moving around. It's like nobody's trying to like break anybody up except for, we'll talk about Ace, Chelley, and Amaya in a second with Austin as collateral, but everybody else is pretty content with where they are. So I don't even know where he's getting this from. I think he's just feeding towards something where he's like, yeah, I still want to be open. I want to be open, but I can't be open with you. So I think he's like genuinely conflicted, and he wants to try to get to a point where they're completely open, where if somebody walks in, it's not going to be a huge meltdown, but you're well past that point, buddy.
I think he's doing the thing where you create distance and hope that she makes the move to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he doesn't want her with anybody else. So it's just like double-edged sword of like, I don't want to be with you anymore, but I don't want you to be with anybody else. So I'm just going to be miserable with you. That's the vibe I'm getting.
That makes sense.
It's leading to an epic crash out that I'm looking forward to. And speaking of crash outs, let's talk about Amaya. Ace and Amaya. Holy shit. Wow. This was possibly my favorite part of the season so far.
Yeah.
Because there's two sides to it too, which is a lot of fun. So he picks her, much to everyone's shock. Even Austin was shocked. And that's the other thing too, by the way. I'm like 95% sure that if Ace had not picked Amaya, that Austin would have picked Amaya.
Absolutely. I mean, they shared that kiss. Yeah, they shared that kiss already. So
it's the first connection he's had.
It's the first connection that Austin has really had with anybody in the house. He told Nick about it. So Nick, now has to harbor this secret, but it doesn't really matter.
Nick gets a lot of secrets too, which is so funny because he's like, "Oh, tell it, buddy," and he doesn't.
I'm not going to tell anybody. Yeah, he doesn't. But it's very funny to me, and I agree. I think that if Ace just picks Chelley, like we all know that he wants to, and for whatever reason he didn't because he's waiting for some reason.
Playing the games, he's overplaying.
Yeah, he's overplaying, but it doesn't really make any sense as to why he's doing that. Like, there's no advantage to doing what he's doing. He just thinks it's the right move, and it's not, because you learn that within a day or two. But now you have to live with this. Now you have to sleep with this person that you've completely shoved away. And in the beginning of this conversation, when it comes to Amaya, and she's calling him babe, and he's laying the ground rules, just throwing it out there. I don't want to be called babe. That's something that you call somebody when you're dating them. It's like, okay, all right. It's a little strong, buddy.
Convo. That's the second convo. The first convo,
what was the first one?
I actually didn't have an issue with the first convo. The first convo was him saying like, hey, I picked you, but like, I still want to explore their options. Like, I don't want to be locked down to anything. I'm not super touchy-feely with people right out of the gate. Like, he was just setting boundaries, the first one. The second conversation, I was more on her team. Conversation number one, I was like, all right, I think he's actually being somewhat of a gentleman about this. And for her to spin it around at the fact that he doesn't want to cuddle, he doesn't want to be touchy-feely, and that makes him a player, I was like, well, that's confusing to me.
I'm getting player vibes from you. It's like, that's wild.
That's not what I got at all. Like,
not even remotely.
He doesn't even want to touch you, and you're calling player vibes.
This whole thing is Ulysses' fault, by the way. If she doesn't have to do what she does and end up getting kicked out,
be a gigantic piece of shit racist.
Then we wouldn't be having this issue right now, because honestly, she's the one who stole him from Chelley to begin with. We could have just left Ace with Chelley, and they probably would have gone from start to finish together, unless something weird happens. But as it looks right now, they've got a good rapport. They've got a good relationship. They could have stayed together, and who knows what would have happened. Instead, he ends up single, and now we've got Crash Out Amaya in there, who is just fucking losing her mind and does not know what to do. And it's giving very much so. I've never had to fight for a guy's
that's the vibe I get, or she's like dumbfounded,
or feelings or anything. Like, you don't want to touch me. We're gonna sleep in the same bed, and you don't even want to cuddle. This is crazy. I've never had that before. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You're a player. It's like, no, that's kind of the opposite. But yeah.
But he does tell her, like, I have other connections I want to explore. And the minute that they go to bed and he goes over and hugs Chelley, I was like, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. You fucked up right there. And sure enough, didn't go how I thought it was going to go. But fast forward to the following morning, and Ace was like setting up the yoga thing with Nick. So he was going to surprise Chelley. I thought it was a good idea. I was like, that's cute. That's fun. Yeah, good call. But before they can get to yoga, and he's running around saying the whole thing, Amaya calls out Chelley as though Chelley's the problem. Chelley has been wildly respectful to everybody. Everybody in the villa likes Chelley. Chelley's like number one girl in the group. And you're going to go after Chelley because Ace expressed interest in her after he told you that he was like a little bit more open and still exploring other connections. And then you're going to go after Chelley?
Because she doesn't know where to direct her anger,
her emotions.
Like she doesn't know what to do.
What the fuck's going on?
She's had at this point 2.5, almost 3 conversations with Ace about all of this, and it gets worse every time. And we haven't gotten to like the extreme one yet, but it does get worse every single time that she tries.
We could do conversation too. The babe conversation.
The babe conversation was wild. This was just. He got the ick. He got the ick from her, and she doubled, tripled, quadrupled down.
I didn't have an issue with her there.
No. She realized like he was gaslighting the shit out of her throughout this entire conversation. She just didn't really know how to handle it. But then she stood up for herself, and I actually had no problem with her doing anything.
Yeah, she's like, everything I do, you have a problem with. And I was like, yeah, seriously, like you can like loosen the reins a little bit, but I get you have boundaries. But she's not saying like, hey, baby, I love you. She's saying like, babe. Like, it's not that fucking deep, and you're acting like she's getting on one knee and proposing to you, pal. Like, settle down.
I need, and putting that side by side with Austin bitching to Charlie about the whole situation, which valid point made by Austin. You could have just picked Chelley. If Amaya had said, why did you pick me and not Chelley if you're legitimately sprinting around the villa to set up a yoga thing, but you could have picked her and you didn't pick her? Is it just to fuck with other people? Like, that's what needs to happen. Like. I think that's what needs to happen. I still really like Ace, but the way he's going about it makes no sense anymore. And he's also not really going after Jeremiah and Huda anymore, which is, that's where all of my enjoyment came from.
That was the most fun.
That was the most fun. He needs to get back to that.
Seeds. He told Olandria, like, hey,
yeah,
he's on the up and up. And I love Olandria too. She's like, well, shit, now I got to keep an eye on this.
Yeah. Not only do I have to keep an eye on this, I'm actually going to go straight to Huda and also plant some more seeds. So
yeah.
I'm just going to work for you at this point. I love Olandria's. Her spot in the villa is so great because everybody talks to her, everybody gives her information, and then she just runs with it. She gives it right away. She gives it to people that she can trust, and she gives it to people that are directly involved and tells them exactly what's going on.
And there's no way she didn't see Sierra in that room when she's letting the bomb drop about him making out with Baldasha minutes before he made out with Sierra. Then she pops up and she goes
directly to Sierra 30 seconds
she asks, like, when did you get here? Like, I'm so sorry. I was like, you knew she was there. That was so good.
Such great TV.
But let's finish up with
the babe conversation. I agree with you. I think that Amaya was in the right during this. She just didn't know how to handle being gaslit that hard. And Ace, he got the ick at some point, and he was forcing her to run away and forcing her to stay away from him and making it even worse. And he was doing that by gaslighting. So that was not the right way to go about it.
No, and it seemed like so cut and dry, like he's just not that into you. Her conversation with Hannah blew my mind. She's like, Ace is still number one for you. I was like, why?
Yeah, what?
Wait,
what are we doing?
What happened to the weird energy I saw between you and Austin on the dock doing that ridiculous meditation that somehow, like, that's the thing. Austin and Amaya, same fucking wavelength. Like,
that's
those two
we need to have. And like, I know it got to the point where obviously Ace and Chelley were doing a lot, and Austin was talking to Olandria, talking about how, do we look like that when we're talking? I don't think we do. It looks, and no, you don't. You really don't. And it's a shame too, because like he is really trying, and it's just, you're not going to get anywhere because she clearly just likes Ace a lot more than she likes you.
She's also,
and that's always going to be there
for Austin.
Yeah, that's also true. But she still likes Austin, so she'll let him down easy. I just need him to realize that the writing's on the wall. It's going to happen sooner rather than later, and you need to find your way through this villa. And your way through the villa right now is probably to shack up with Amaya. Yeah.
Makes the most sense. And just go back to that scene on the dock. And like his reaction to it too. Like he was like a kid in a candy store. He's like running around. Yeah. He ran and got Charlie, and Charlie was all gassed up too because him and Hannah have something. They both finally found a connection. They were both like giggling.
The Hannah and Charlie thing is so funny because we don't even need to talk about them. They don't do anything. They're just great. They're genuinely infatuated with each other. They're happy that they found each other. Hannah runs into the girls' dressing room talking about how happy she is. She didn't even have to fight for her man.
Nope.
You know, it could be an issue. Maybe look further into that. But it seems like you guys are happy, but you don't do anything. You guys just lay around all day.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it because it seems like they're cool. So they like it.
I have no problems with those two. They're just happy to be together and like happy to have somebody to share a bed with. I'm like, great, you guys, this works for me. But watching Austin and Charlie giggle like that, I'm like, Austin finally found somebody. But then I think what's happening with the Chelley situation is I think it's ego driven now. I think he's going to lose to Ace. I think that's what's driving, because he really took a second to step back. Like him and Chelley seem like they've gotten to a friend's place. Like they seem like they're able to talk.
Well, he says that during the kiss or pie.
Yeah, but every time I see them talk, I'm like, you guys don't talk of anything of substance, because I don't think he's that deep to do that. But like when she talks to Ace and he makes the statement, like, do I look like that when I talk to her? It's like, you don't, because there's clearly chemistry there. They're clearly into each other. They clearly have a deeper connection than you two. When you talk to her, it seems like you're trying to figure out what to say next. It's like you're searching for a question or something like that. And it's just not it. But when you talk to Amaya, for whatever reason, she understands where you're coming from, even with the weird shit. She's like locked in. Go for that, dude. That makes more sense, Austin. It makes more sense. Your way through is just like you said, Shoots. Your way through is with Amaya, at least for now. So
you're going to get left out on an island at some point, because the next recoupling, the girls are going to get to choose. And you don't want to be stuck out there. You do not want to be stuck out on an island.
I think she's too nice.
She might, but like you can't put all your eggs in that basket. You just can't. You can't take that risk again. And if it was one of those things where Ace was forced to pick Chelley, there you go. There's your out. You've got a single girl out there in Amaya. Go ahead and pick her. There's 2 new bombshells coming in. They're probably going to be dudes next episode. You're going to be on the outs, brother. You should have just shacked up when you could have.
That's a good point. I'm curious. I don't know how that one's going to go, but with the Beldasha, Sierra, Nick, smooching, when that came out, I had 2 reactions. My first reaction was the reaction I had when it happened, where it was like, Nick, can you at least dry your mouth off before you make out with somebody else?
Yeah.
But now that we've gotten to where we've gotten to, right, I feel like the statement of sending Bella packing negates any kissing that happened previously.
It does. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, that is pretty much the game. I mean, everybody's going to make out with everybody. Like, yeah, for whatever reason at this juncture, they're so coupled up and almost closed off already that they have to shake something up here. And that's really the only thing that's happened that's really been oh, fuck. What are we going to do here? And yeah, I agree with you. You got rid of Beldasha. So that's like it's almost like a romantic gesture. It's a romantic gesture to Sierra. Hey, yeah, I made out with her, but I made out with you second.
It was so funny watching him try to walk his way through it too. Yeah, she's like, she calls him out. He's like, well, I mean, yeah, sorta. But now I can give 100% to you. It's like, that's not what she said, dude. But because he's such like a puppy dog, she's like, I can't be mad at this guy. Like look at those curls, those eyes, that soft smile. Like, I can't be mad at this guy. But now he knows in the future,
don't do that again.
I'm like, he's gonna do this again.
Yeah, he's gonna do it again.
When he smooches Amaya during the smoocher pie thing, he's like, I enjoyed that way more than I thought I would. And it's like, oh, did you, Nick?
I don't really get like manipulation or like mastermind or like
from Nick.
He's like no, not at all.
No, he's just a
he's not intentionally like doing anything wrong. He feels bad when people point out that he should feel bad for sure, but he gives me like he'll go to Casa Amor and he'll come back with another girl because another girl will show interest in him. Yeah. Someone else will show interest and he'll be like, well, okay, cool.
No, he'll go to a confession and go, fuck.
No, he'll do it. We'll get that when he's walking back into the villa, and we'll see that Sierra's sitting there alone waiting for him to come back
all
because
excited.
She didn't couple up with anybody, and he's going to come back in with another girl, and she's going to be like, what the hell? And then we'll go to his confessional and be like, rounding that corner and seeing Sierra's face.
That really sucked. Fuck. What do I do now? 80-20. 80-20.
Let me go back to the old reliable. Put my hands up and talk about percentages.
I don't know how percentages work really, but 80-20. 80-20.
Oh, man. But yeah, with all of that, obviously, you know, the moving on from Nick and Beldasha and everybody, the Ace and Amaya shit is hilarious, and it culminates with him just baiting her into getting to the point where he can say, you know what?
I'm not interested.
We're done. I'm not exploring this connection anymore, which that has to just be a specific phrase that they have to use on the show. Like when they have to scream that they got a text.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. Hey, we're together. We're a couple. I'm not exploring this connection anymore.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
You
go talk to other people. He didn't say, I'm going to go talk to other people. He said, you go talk to other people.
You go explore other connections.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go talk to Chelley.
But the funniest is like, first of all, I still can't get over the treatment of Chelley. Especially considering you and Ace aren't very close and you're acting like you guys have been dating. Like that was a red flag to me. But when they're on the dock talking and like you said, I mean, he's baiting this. This is a setup so that he can say we're done.
Yeah.
That being said, he sets it up with, I'm going to talk. You're going to talk. We're not going to interrupt each other. He lets her talk. And the minute he starts talking, she starts talking over him. And then he's like, perfect. Now I can let you go.
There you go. Now I don't have to look like a huge asshole while I do all of this, which he didn't really. I mean, she just seems erratic and she doesn't know what the hell's going on. So,
that's made pretty apparent at the kiss or pie thing. When she's like, what do you mean trying too hard? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's pretty self-explanatory.
It's a game.
Like, you're trying too hard.
We're all relaxing with our couples and talking to our friends.
Even Huda and Jeremiah are joking around somewhat.
You're over there screaming at Ace because you can't call him babe. Seems like you're trying a little too hard.
It just seems like you're trying. Like, let him go. Go for somebody else. And that's the worst part. I actually feel bad for her because of that setup. Now, not that she's doing herself any favors by after the game is over, right? They didn't write these questions. They were forced to answer these questions. There's no follow-up. You don't go up to Taylor after the game and be like, I got a bone to pick with you, dude. We need to go talk about this right now, Tay-Tay. And I was like, oh, I don't think he's going to like this. But the worst part, and I do feel for, is like, I don't think he loves it, to be honest with you. But like, as she's walking up, here's the big problem. Every dude in the villa goes, oh, shit. Oh, here she comes. Oh, boy. Oh, God.
They all knew it, too.
Austin goes, I'm scared.
They all knew that it was going to happen, too, because they're all sitting there like, all right, well, what's the big takeaway? And the girls are doing the same thing. And they talk, Ace taking offense to anything was annoying.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
settle
doing,
down,
dude?
dude. I think that was like, personal. Shut up.
And he was spinning it into, now he's like, oh, yeah, I feel like it's personal and she has a vendetta against me. It's like, no,
not really.
It was a joke because you clearly don't want to be with Amaya. So you're clearly going to be the first person that jumps at the opportunity for a new girl going into the villa. So no, I didn't like that. That was just a stretch. And I don't know what his motive is here. He's probably trying to further a wedge between Huda and Jeremiah in some way, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise that seems pretty innocuous. Like, why would you get offended about that? It just doesn't make any sense.
It made me laugh when she tells Amaya, I picked Ace because who would I rather pie? But he tells Ace, it's like, who would I rather kiss? I'm like, ooh, spin zone.
Yeah, good spin zone. All right, good move. But yeah, everybody's sitting there talking about it and obviously trying to debrief what's going on. Amaya walking over. Everybody knows why she's walking over. They're like, she looked pretty fired up about that one comment. Like,
well, she was asking everybody during the game, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? What? In my dumb brain, I'm sitting at home. It's like, what do you not get?
Yeah,
you're trying too hard. What does that mean? It means you're trying too hard. I don't know how else to say it, Amaya. You're doing too much. Maybe say it that way. Like, I don't know what's going to make it click, but
it gets, Taylor's such a nice guy that like it gets squashed pretty much immediately because he just explains to her what it meant.
Did you see how defensive he was though? He was hugging a pillow.
He's so scared. They were so scared. They're like, I don't know where this is going to go.
Oh,
is
Jesus.
she really that mad at me, or is she trying too hard? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I'm scared. Let me just explain it to her very calmly. And this is the most calm that we've seen Amaya react to anything. Once he goes through everything, she's like, all right, yeah, no, I get it. Like my guard's just
I did try too hard to get him back. It's like, yeah, all right,
cool.
He's like, yeah,
that's step in the right direction, Amaya. But the last thing that I do want to talk about, and obviously, we've got a little bit of a cliffhanger with where Huda and Jeremiah stand, and we talked about that whole conversation. When we go back to the rest of the group while they're talking, obviously Nick's the one who brings it up to Jeremiah that it seems like it's a little inauthentic. It seems like she's closed off way too early.
He says Huda seems fraudulent.
Yeah, she's her experience in the villa is fraudulent. She's not really going to the fullest extent. You seem like a safe choice, is how he says it. And that's what she's going to play at. Jeremiah is just like, well, I don't know what to do, man.
That's all I need to hear. Fuck Huda.
Yeah, seriously. So they're having their little conversation. Nick says at the end of his little spiel,
don't tell her.
Please don't tell her that. Please don't tell her that. Okay, I won't tell her that. That's fine. Everybody comes over and goes, what's that all about? That seems crazy. Austin just blurts out right away. These guys got into her head,
bro. He got in their head.
I thought that was fair, honestly. I thought that was fine.
I mean, it was gonna come out, right? It was gonna come out. So
it was gonna come out regardless because of the way that Jeremiah was talking about it, where he's saying, all the guys are talking about it. Hood is immediately gonna go back to the girls, probably in like the makeup room, talking about how all the guys know about this and all the guys are talking about their relationship. Then they're all going to talk to the guys. It'll eventually come out. So I think this is probably the easiest way to do it, but it was funny that they're all just like, I don't know. I have no idea. What are you talking about? You guys all just got into his head like 30
guys, we were just, but that's Austin doesn't even know like the nuance to it. He's like, what do you got? What you guys heard what he said? Like, oh, I was supposed to say that? Like, he's just such an idiot. But
he strikes me. He's gonna like follow up and be like, wait, was it like a secret? Like when I told you that I hooked up with Amaya and Nick?
That's what it's gonna be. He's gonna drop
one of those
secret.
secrets, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
God damn it, Austin! This is why we don't tell you anything. But watching Jeremiah just sit there again, Huda technically has done nothing wrong. Nothing's changed other than Nick told you he thinks something about her.
I mean, they do need to break up. But
I agree. But by the way, if you're looking into this relationship as to who's being fake and who's being real, Jeremiah's the fake one. And Huda, I do believe, is kind of all in at this point. Like, I don't have reason to believe she's faking. Jeremiah seems to be faking and wants the money. I don't think he's actually into it. And it's made much more aware and evident in this episode, especially when he's sitting there and she's like, what's up? And he's giving her a thumbs up. Like, fuck off, pretty much. She's not saying anything. And she goes to the other side of the couch and she's like, why is he mad at me? And that's when it's like, oh, he got in the head. And so they go talk. And even when they're talking, now he's trying to like laugh it off. He's like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It's like, it was enough of a deal for you to give her the cold shoulder, you weirdo. And now she wants to know what's up. The end of the day, dude, this is way too much, way too fast. Like, she is way too far into this whole thing. He clearly had a plan of attack, and now he's second guessing everything in the moment. And that's what we're left with. It's just like a giant shitstorm waiting to explode.
I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode.
I already know.
I'm locked in.
I already know. He's going to simmer it down. They're going to smooch. Nothing's going to happen this time. But And I honestly, here's how I want it to go, because the obvious answer is a new bombshell is going to come in, a woman, and he's going to be enamored. She's going to be like up his alley, and he's going to be like, oh my God. And he's going to step out.
Yeah.
That's the obvious answer. What I would love is if a dude bombshell walks in and Huda steps out.
That would be great.
Wild.
I don't think she's going to, but you know what actually would be great is her takeaway from this conversation is clearly you're not as invested in this as I am. So we should take a step back, and I'm going to start talking to other people. And
I'm going to talk to Austin.
Yeah, that would be fucking great. As soon as she starts with that mentality of I'm going to talk to other people, there's already people in the house. You've known these people for 7-8 days at this point. You're not going to hook up with any of them. They're not going to hook up with you because of how messy it's been. Hopefully her mentality shifts right in time for bombshells to walk in. And then she goes and flirts with other guys to try to piss off Jeremiah. But these guys are like, hey, let's hook up.
Hey, what's up?
And then all shit breaks loose.
Let me show you the hideaway.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm so invested in this show. It's wild. Like, I love everything about it. I love watching the reactions. I'm a big body language guy, as you know. So I've just been watching like how they're all moving and looking at each other and shit. It's so intriguing to me. But then to see how these dudes' minds work in setting up like the next step or what their next move is, or like, I'm just like, God, you guys are so dumb. And I love watching it so much.
The best. God, it's the best.
So good.
What do we say? We get to some questions.
Oh, I would love to do some questions.
First up here from Leah F. Turner. Why did Ace not pick Chelley when he picked Amaya?
We don't know.
He's tried.
I do know. He's trying to play the game.
Yeah, we assume it's a play, and it backfired.
Because Chelley calls him out on it later. She's like, "You're this cool guy thing." Like a lot of people, and she's so good with how she like says things.
Yeah,
he's like, some people would interpret that as a wall, and he's like, "I don't have any walls up with you." I'm like, "All you are is a wall, Ace."
Yeah, dude. From Bree Polo, Jeremiah acting like a victim and acting like he cares for Huda is an ick. He'll get his comeuppance. Like, it'll happen. And again, like, do I like either of them? Do I like them together? Absolutely not. I'm very invested in what happens, but I'm telling you right now, the rest of the girls know what's going on, and they're going to learn very quickly what he's been doing, how he's been acting. They're all going to wall off around him, and he's going to be stuck. And he's probably going to have to go after a bombshell or Casa Amor or whatever it might be. But it's definitely going to play out in a very funny way.
Yeah, you're starting to see with his reactions and how he's talking to her now that he's irritated. Like, that's Jeremiah. That's the guy behind the mask. So that's becoming more evident.
From Crystal Taryn, who do you think is just together to make it to the end? I mean, you can obviously say Jeremiah and Huda. I don't know.
That would be my only one at this
Charlie
juncture.
and Hannah could be at some point, but right now I think they're just happy to have each other.
Yeah, not enough info there.
I don't know. Right now, I would say that I think they're all kind of slowly realizing that none of them are. Like, there's no way that Nick and Sierra make it to the end. He's gonna
step out.
As soon as one girl shows interest in him, he'll be like, "Well, me? Really? All right, cool."
What? Fuck.
No way. Fuck, I did it again.
80-20.
From Zoe Kudlapale, why do you think Ace and Chelley didn't pursue anything when they met before the villa?
We don't know what happened before the villa. They've lived in different cities. That's a big part.
Yeah.
But there could have been some shenanigans.
I don't know if like any phone numbers were exchanged or Instagrams or anything like that.
They were talking on Instagram, they said.
Oh, they were?
So I don't know if there were some shenanigans in the DMs. I don't know how far they got with that whole thing, but they were, I think the overlying reason or the easiest reason is they lived in different states.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Last one here from Jenna Soph. How do you like watching Ariana host? I think it's great. She does
fantastic.
Such a great job.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She was made for this.
Yeah. Yep. And she deserves it. And you know Sandoval's watching too, which makes it even funnier.
Yeah, dude. It's like, fuck, I missed my chance.
80-20.
15 years too late.
He's doing the Nick method.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh boy. But yeah, I can't wait for Thursday so I can see the the end of this cliffhanger. I thought my issue would be that I would not be able to watch them all. It turns out my issue is I can't watch them. I don't have enough.
You gotta get more. Did you download the app yet?
The Love Island app?
Yeah.
No, this is a free plug for the Love Island app.
Free plug for the Love Island app. You can find out what's going on in the villa, find out what else is happening, and when the timing is right, you get to vote.
I'll probably download it to vote. You know, I'm probably not going to do anything.
I will, yeah, because I don't know like how much of it you'll watch live. When I find out the voting episodes, I'll make sure you watch it live so you can vote.
Yeah, I want to be able to vote.
We want you to vote.
We want you to pick the next couple on Love Island.
Oh God! All right.
Nope. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
That's our show. These bros got to go.